to intellectual conversations. You've just stepped into a space where the mind meets the soul. A place where poetry and conversation collab to form a silky, smooth vibe that flows like smooth jazz. Dope poetry, deep dialogue, and unapologetically real energy. So pour your favorite drink, light one up if that's your rhythm, and let the world outside melt away. So sit back, relax, and let's get into tonight's hot topic.
What's good? What's good? What's good, people? Welcome back to another episode of Intellectual Conversation, home of dope poetry, deep dialogue, and unapologetically real energy. Tonight is a special one because we're sitting down with some of the most incredible voices that make up the SunRise Scribe family. If you've ever wondered what happens when creativity, authenticity, healing, storytelling, and community all meet at the same table, you're about to find out tonight. Joining us tonight, we've got Afro Queen, Sage, aka Exquisite Ink, the many attitudes of Dennis, the gangster butterfly herself, Shauna Melton, and of course, to anchor it all, the Elder. These are writers, storytellers, truth tellers, and creatives who show up day after day to put pieces of themselves on the page and share them with the world. They inspire, they challenge, they heal, and they remind us all of the power that words can carry. Tonight we may not get a sunrise in the sky, but we definitely gonna get one of these in conversations. Through the voices of SunRise Scribe, we're about to watch ideas rise, stories rise, and inspiration rise like the morning sun. So tap into the chat, get comfortable, and let's see what happens when writers who aren't afraid of their truth come together. So everybody, please help me welcome SunRise Scribe. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. What's good, people?
Hey, peace, everybody.
Oh man, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for coming through, man. I love this group. I love being part of this family. So I know this is gonna be fun. This gonna be fun. So we start off with how everybody feeling.
Well, blessed. Good. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much. This is exciting.
I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm tired, but we won't get this done.
I took a nap today to make sure that I would be able to do this. So
that's sleeping well.
So this first question that I do have will be actually for Afro Queen. For those who may not know, what exactly is SunRise Scribe?
Woo, SunRise Scribe is a lifeline, okay? SunRise Scribe is where we come together twice a week. We write in community together because we all share a really strong belief that writing is medicine. Most of us write to keep ourselves sane, to keep ourselves purposeful, to keep ourselves forward moving, to be more self aware, and to deal with everything that the world throws at us in this daily life. And so that's really what SunRise Scribe is about. In doing what we do, we honor our ancestors, those foundational Black poets and writers who have been making a way for all of us. And we're making a way for the future writers that are to come after us.
Rare. What have you learned from other writers in this particular group?
Haven't I learned? I've learned what community really means, right? In the intimate setting of telling your whole truth, unredacted, the carefulness in which the prompts are chosen, right? And the many directions. I've learned how corporate think works, because you'll say something and be like, were you standing over my shoulder when you wrote your piece?
Oh,
Because how we walk the same road, but how different that walk looks through every single pen, right? And sometimes they paint a picture like Shauna paints with words, but how you see the picture and you're like, I never thought of it that way, but now you can't unsee it that way. And I really learned that my truth is okay, that it's okay to not be okay, and to unflinchingly say it, and you ain't judged for it.
Now that's the truth. Now that I love this group for the most part for that reason and that reason alone. Like it doesn't matter what anybody's going through, nobody's ever judged, everybody's there for everybody. Like I absolutely love that. That time frame is a beast, but everything else I love.
Well, you know, SunRise we're called SunRise Scribe obviously because we didn't say it, but we meet at 7:15 in the morning. And depending on where you are in the country, that might be 7 or that might be 6 or that might even be 5. So the fact that those who consistently participate have made such a commitment to show up at that time of day says a lot about not only you as the poet, but this community too.
So this question right here is for anybody who wants to answer and everybody who wants to answer. What made you fall in love with writing? Don't you all answer at one time?
Everybody's trying to be polite, right? So I'll just be first. All right. All right. So what made me fall in love with writing? It was such an outlet for me. It was a catharsis to it. Right. And then the challenge of being able to convey the thoughts and emotions that I'm feeling in the moment, but in a way that it doesn't feel heavy for everyone listening. Right. So for me, me basically taking whatever it is I'm writing about and putting it into bite-sized morsels for people to consume, so that way they don't feel like they're traumatized with me. And so that really made me love writing, to try and figure out how can I get all of this out of me, because before I started writing poetry again, there was like a whole part of me missing, because I was writing sermons, I was writing reports, but I wasn't writing creatively. And writing creatively actually was that last little bit I needed to really get myself, my whole self in alignment. So it was definitely necessary.
I didn't delay in answering because I was trying to be polite. I delayed because I had to ask myself, do I love it? I don't think I hate it, but I guess writing could be like a job. I need it. I got I got to have a job. I got to have a roof over my head. So writing is a necessity. And there are some days where it's good at the job. I have fun. It's a good day. But there are some days where it's like I'm too old for this shit.
That's a great way to look at it. Like a lot of us, we do big up the fact that we are writers, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I promise you I do. But there are times where I look at it and be like, I just ain't got it in me today. So when you get to that point, Dennis, what do you do to pull yourself out of that?
Well, just to expand a little bit more, I think one of the reasons why it can't always be good is because it's going to require you to go to uncomfortable places. You may have to talk about your father, and you don't like that nigga. You don't want to talk about him. But if you're being true to the craft, you got to do it. Not that I'm talking about anybody in particular, right? But yeah, but that's the thing. You have to. It's not going to be pleasant at times, but that's the craft. And I guess when you ask like how do you deal with that, you deal with that with something like SunRise Scribe, because what's interesting is, without us even realizing it, this is craft. This is 2 times a week, religiously for the majority of us, and that's how you improve as a writer. I've seen it everywhere. Everywhere I look, the writers that I respect and admire, that's one consistent theme. You have to have a writing practice.
Well, this next question is going to be for Sage and Gangsta Butterfly, but anybody can answer it after they do. Has there ever been a moment when the group showed up for you outside of writing?
When haven't they? That's a given. This is not just the writing group. This is family. This is not just, hey, we come and write and we go on. SunRise Scribe, when you came in, I told you that if you are coming just to write, then you're not going to do well here. We have written, we have been mad, we have cussed, we have cried. We have held each other up inside and outside of that room. So it's something I almost expect. I don't have to think twice about it. I know that if nobody else is going to be there, Scribe is going to be there. If I am not having a day where I'm not myself and my writing is not myself, that's okay in the room, but I promise you, I'm going to hear from Rare. Shauna T's going to call me. Somebody's going to reach out to, in the midst of it, Wallace may bless us with a prayer. So it's going to be something. This is not just writing. This is family.
Same question for you, Gangsta Butterfly.
I need to rewind and bring it back. Writing is not a choice for me, or painting. Sometimes I wish I loved math because that's where the money be at. And, and this is the life. But ever since I've been writing poems since before I knew I was writing poems, and then people identified them as poems for me, right? And so I don't think it's a choice. And it's always interesting where even I say, like, I'm a quit. I can't quit. It's like part of you. So yeah, when I first started performing, my friend Dion would bring me to Brooklyn to Word Space every time it happened, like once or twice a month. And Tantra would run Word Space, and Tantra Epiphany and Fasiwe were Precious Gift. And in that community, I met Nathan and Jamal St. John and Ainsley Burroughs and all these incredible poets who at the time were also newer, not new, but new to me, and not as evolved as they have become since. And so we were in a space without a lot of ego, but a lot of excellence. So I was thrown into a pot of really dope people. And Precious Gift, Tantra Epiphany, and Fasiwe became my family. So she's probably the only person who's going to get me up at 7:15 in the morning. I barely do it. It's like 20 years under our belt that say if I don't get up, there's going to be a problem. But I'm happy I do, and I love these people. But Fasiwe has been the person in my life, that crew has been the people in my life. Where's your book? When you come in? Was you going on stage? Like, those were the questions until I just knew that I was going to have to. And so coming into this, I was at a no more friends period in my life. I'm tired of people. You'll probably hear me say that a lot. I'm tired of people. I'm sick of humans. I'm a peopleist, not a racist, a peopleist. I'm just over it. And then they come all being excellent and wonderful and loving and supportive. And I'm like, sheesh, now I have to like people now. And I'm thankful I did, because all of y'all are, Paul Cram, I will say, you're just so intelligent. And sometimes I listen to Wallace and he talks about, so many spiritual things and community things and life and loving his partner. And Dennis is just abstract. And even as a woman needing to see the Black men in my life be well and strong and smart, I can talk about our sisters all day, but I think it's important as well to say, it's easy to talk down about men when you've had suspect experiences, but you guys are also reminders that it's not so bad in these streets.
Thank you. Now, speaking on Wallace, like, yeah, I mean, Wallace is one of those people where if he wants to pray for you, you let him pray for you, because he's genuine. That, or you have to worry about him laying hands on you in a way that you don't want him to deal with. That man's hands is like the size of damn computer monitors. So you really don't want him talking about Hashata. Like you don't want that to happen. You know, look, you see it, you see it, you see it. That man fingers look like legs. Like there's no way it's two hands. Oh man. All right, I got one more question before we get into the poetry, man. Writer's block is something that a lot of people say that they suffer with. To me, it seems like it is a real thing for some, and for others, it's an excuse. For either one of you that has ever had to genuinely deal with writer's block, how did you get through that, and what advice would you give somebody who's going through it? Let's start with Elder.
All right. Yeah, I had writer's block for real. It actually happened to me in high school. During like finals, like I had to write a whole paper and I couldn't write a thing. It took me weeks to finally get over it. And it all started with, like a journey of 1,000 miles. It starts with one step. It starts with one word. So I battled to get one word on the page to kind of unlock, what it was. And I got the word on the page and I said, all right, let's make this word into a sentence. And then let's make this sentence into a paragraph. And then it just kind of steamrolled. It was one of those things like put one foot in front of the other. I didn't care about quality. I stopped thinking about what it was going to be and how great it was going to be and just got it on the page so I can get through something. That whole thing I wrote to get started, I threw away. I deleted because it was just to get me out of this mindset, because really it was me fooling myself trying to make everything great from jump, like revisions and different drafts didn't matter. So sometimes we amp ourselves up and expect everything to be perfect and we get in our own way. So just move yourself out of the way and just start with the first word.
Get out of your own way. That's something I've been hearing a lot this last couple of days. I'll explain all of that later on why. But anybody else like to answer that question?
Yeah, the thing with writer's block is actually counterintuitive. The way you overcome writer's block is you have to write. It's the only way to overcome it. The issue is that you are trying to dictate what you want to write, and that's not how it works. You have to trust the process. And Shauna mentioned math, so I'm going to tell you what the formula for writing is. This is the formula for overcoming writer's block. Ass plus seat equals writing. You sit your ass in a seat and you stay there for a prescribed amount of time. And you just write whatever comes into your head. You write words, whatever you see on the walls, and you just keep doing that. And eventually, somewhere, if you trust the process, you'll start to something will break, and the writing that you're seeking will start to flow.
I like that. Ass plus seat equals right. Now, hey, y'all, listen, viewers, don't be surprised if later on tonight, if there's anything like that during this show, if you hear a piece from Dennis and he has in that piece, ass plus seat equals right. That's just one of the talents that this man has. He would listen to a conversation like he's not, and then write a whole piece about your conversation, and will probably solve whatever dilemma you was having during your conversation in that piece.
Can I add something real quick before you move
Yes,
on?
ma'am.
Our beloved, and when I say our, I mean because she made us feel like she's ours. Our beloved Nikki Giovanni once told us there's no such thing as writer's block. What it is you just haven't decided what you want to write about yet, but you can't be afraid of your own voice. And that I took that away and will never forget it, because if we know our why for why we write, then we should be able to write. We have to learn and train ourselves and trust ourselves to write everything. Everything is not for everybody. And I think you've all alluded to it, that sometimes when we have writer's block, it's because we're trying to make it perfect from jump. We're trying to make it be something very specific. But sometimes you just need to write whatever is in your head. Even if you're writing, I don't know how to talk about this. I'm not sure how to say this, because that's the beginning of the energy flow. And that will lead you to the next thoughts that will begin to open up. And the second thing that I also learned for me is when I got off my laptop and started writing by hand. That made a flow of energy in my writing that has been unmatched to this day.
I might be speaking from because I have two disciplines, so I tend to alternate. If I'm not writing, I'll start painting and vice versa. But sometimes it's just okay to live. You have to live the thing so you can write about it. And sometimes you're going through something so heavy, there's not a poem yet. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't have the words yet. And then you let them come. Because as bad as it is to not write, I feel like it's worse to force it, and people feel it when you force it, and you feel it when you force it. So even if you're not writing, finding some level or form of self-expression until the words come, I think that's really helpful.
I like that. Oh, everything y'all said made sense. We go ahead and get out of my writer's block, so they say. But we are at that point where it is time for people to hear the reason why we are here today. So are y'all ready? All right.
Be nice if I unmuted myself. This is a change that's going to come. I was born by the river in a little tent. Just like that river, I've been running ever since. I do this ode to hope, no justice, but I feel every injustice it embodies. From 1964 until now, the themes have been the same. The modes of delivery have changed. From overt to covert to false faces of decency, macro aggressions turned micro, causing soul deaths by 1,000 cuts. It's been a long time coming, and I know evil is like energy. It can't be destroyed. It can only change forms, transform to new methods of destruction, stimulating nervous systems with unnerving systems, then repackage the old things to distract the masses, the art of misdirection, leaving people unstable to enable the coup de grace. But despite the attempts of the establishment to stop it, progress moves on. Like a sinner playing church until that first quickening. They played tolerant until their future generations believed it. Since the root of this is in the heart, it does not collectively shift in an instant. It takes a long time to make this monumental move. This turning from yearning to burn down a people to assuage evil does not happen suddenly. So we continue to apply pressure to form diamonds that refract all colors, elevating everyone who shines. So when I go to my brother and say, brother, help me, please, he doesn't wind up knocking me back on my knees. No, he gives me a hand up, not handcuffs. He sees the cry for help, not begging for a handout. He's no longer signaling virtue for clout, becomes a living epistle of love our Heavenly Father spoke about. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change is going to come. Oh, bask in the progress that our algorithms say don't exist. And no, this is not the end, but a checkpoint along the way, a sanity check for reorganization. Be encouraged. The action eradicates fractions of the old guard bacon on our fatigue, but be not weary in well-doing, because your contribution promotes movement in the right direction. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And the elder has spoken.
Confession. Alone is never a state I wanted to live in, move to. Like, I knew occasionally passing through was a necessary evil, sometimes against my will, sometimes what I choose, but never did I ever want to get used to the smell of it or get this familiar with its back roads and monuments, invest in its politics, wear the thick of its accent on my tongue, bear the pollutants of its atmosphere in my lungs, have the wet of it wrung from my skin while the rot of it burrows in my marrow bone deep, seeping in cells that tell my blood to get used to the echo. Have it grow on me like moss on an oak tree, infrequently leaching water from my eyes the few times I've allowed myself to cry. I'm not even sad anymore. Resigned to placing a welcome mat at the door and finally put up pictures on the wall, staring at them, enthralled by the crowds I've been in and how at the night or weekend's end I am still resident in this state of alone. It's what I go home to. Even before that, it's the border that begins at the door of the car I climb into. The silence, a rude and loud awakening, roughly stripping off the clothing of community it sees on me, reminding me of where I come from, where I'm always returning to, where in actuality I never leave. And believe me, alone is never a state I wanted to live in, move to, but I knew it was most likely the place I'd land, where my soul would plant its seeds, grow like willow tree, rot, burrowing in the root and marrow, bone deep, seeping in cells that tell my blood to get used to the echo, get used to the echo, get used to the echo, get used to the echo. Epiphanies.
Imagine being on a Greyhound bus, seated in the rear like a Negro from the 60s, traveling from South Carolina to the Port Authority bus terminal in New York City, and you strike up a conversation with the passenger in window seat 11A. Imagine it's 96 degrees and the AC isn't working, and row 11 is only 2 rows away from the porta potty bathroom that smells like 137 unwashed booty holes. And every time the door is opened, you have to call on Jesus and hold your breath for 3 highway exits. Imagine you or I'll seat 11B, and from North Carolina to Washington, D.C., you are hearing a first-hand account from a 52-year-old Persian American who has been in America since kindergarten, who's been married for 25 years, has 3 kids, and up until 10 months ago, had his own construction business. These are the words of passenger 11A. I haven't seen my wife and kids in 10 months. ICE followed me to Home Depot. I went to pick up some supplies for a job. When I came out, ICE agents were waiting at my vehicle. They kidnapped me, took me to Baltimore, put me in a holding cell, bologna and cheese 3 times a day. Then they shipped me to Shreveport, Louisiana, a private prison with a government contract. They put me in a 100-man dorm. I almost died one night. I fainted, trying to make it to the toilet. When they took my blood pressure, it was 92/53. The guard said, "He's okay. Send him back to the bay." I woke up in the emergency room, shackled. I had internal bleeding. Normal hemoglobin level is 13 or 14. Mine was 7. I needed an emergency blood transfusion, 3 bags of blood. Once I get off this bus, and after I hug my wife and kids, and after we have a good cry, I'm going to donate blood. I'm O negative. Anyone can use mine. That blood saved my life. The last 10 months almost killed me. 23-hour lockdown. Guys screaming all night. Couldn't adjust the shower temperature. Scalding water. All they give you to eat is rice and potatoes and a mystery meat patty 8 times a week with just a different name. The bed is so small, if you turn over, you fall on the floor. When I first got out, I spent one night in the hotel. I fell on that king-size mattress and did snow angels. My kids had to go to therapy. My wife developed depression. She told me she's not letting me back outside. I have to get a job working from home. I listened to all the missed voicemail messages from my mother asking, "When are you coming home?" It took 7 lawyers and $100,000 to get out of there. I filed a federal lawsuit and won. I'm one of the lucky ones. I lost my business. My credit score dropped. My lawyers want to sue for unjust detention. Maybe later. I can't think about that right now. I've been on this bus for 30 hours. They took my driver's license, so I couldn't fly. All I've had is 2 hot dogs. My family is waiting at Union Station. I told them, look for the fat guy in the red shirt. After I hug my wife and kids, after we have a good laugh, I have to go back to Baltimore and report so they can remove this ankle monitor. This whole experience has taught me long suffering patience. You suffer, but don't lose patience. It's the simple things you miss. A slice of tomato, scrambled eggs with cheese, a biscuit. I missed my daughter's 18th birthday and all her soccer matches. At least I'll be at her graduation. She's going to college on a scholarship. This is not a democracy anymore. It's a dictatorship. He can do anything he wants. He has the Supreme Court in his back pocket. He wants to put his picture on every passport. They can do this to me anytime they want. I think I'm giving it 2 years and then I'm going to Spain. My wife and kids can visit me there. It's only a 6-hour flight. I can't go through this again. They can do this to me anytime they want. I don't disagree with what they're doing. I disagree with how they're doing it. I saw guys with green cards get deported. The gangbangers need to go, but they're deporting everybody who looks Latino. They're breaking up families. They're saying, you want to see your kids? Take them with you. Now stop imagining. This is really happening. You are really seat 11B. In the words of 11A, now you know what it's really like. Keep looping in your head. And by the time you reach Virginia, the lack of AC and overexposure to the odor of 137 unwashed booty holes will wear you out and you will doze off. And when you come to, you'll notice the arm of 11A has become your rest stop. And his shoulder never says a word, never interrupts your nap, never shrugs you off because it knows you are exhausted.
This was Talk Your Shit Tuesday. Did y'all see her in that dress? Baby, them hips was hippin' and that cleavage was cleaving. Damn, she was fine. Walking by, leaving a slight scent of frankincense and myrrh in the air, just to leave a memory on the senses as they watched her walk by. Big hugs to whoever she knew. She don't smile with everyone. She flashed that smile at a friend she hadn't seen in a year. She heard him say, ooh, that smile. She glanced back to where the comment came from. Hey, King. He said, hello, Queen. Made her way through the room. She started taking inventory on herself. She may not be as bad as she thinks she is. She's turned her head a few or two. He said to her, you know you fine, but you don't own it. I need you to do it now. See, but I have a multitude of scars, both internal and external. See, those thoughts keep her trapped. See, people have told her that things she said or did for them have changed their lives. It brings tears to her eyes. It's nothing special. I'm just being me. She may be tough at times, but those who really know her, that she operates on a level of love, and she will give her all to help you make your life better. I looked on my computer at my folder of stuff. T.I. could be writing, y'all. Yeah. And it's also been healing. And she's been trying to forgive herself for just being human. Still standing, still dancing. The knees ain't what they used to be, but she can still move. Still remembering the choreography of childhood pieces and her own pieces. Cultures just running through her veins. Did y'all see that beautiful chocolate woman passing by? I think you need to keep an eye on that one because she's something special. Exquisitely Sage. Peace.
The poetry of the Harlem Renaissance was pain and freedom parading up 125th Street to jazz horns and African drums, bending English with blackness to our will, spitting back in America's face literally, saying, ha, you tried it. You scraped our native tongues, and yet we Langston, Gwendolyn, and countied all up and through your literary canon. Take this revolution. So here we are, 100 years into the future, where the spirit of those poems find us revolutionizing the sunrise, penning self-awareness as we decolonize the next 100 years. But it won't be through bars of TikTok cages. No, these poems will live in the world. These poems will dismantle old paradigms with their hands. These poems will hold American democracy accountable with their questions. These poems will build bridges between Black trauma and Black excellence. In another 100 years, we will be writing poetry forms named by the Afro future outside of the white gaze, the texture on our tongues engraved by the fabrics of the African diaspora, stanzas counted in the polyrhythms of what we say and what we mean, because these poems will always be telling the stories that exist in between the vocabulary we have been given and the lexicon we create from remnants of the languages we lost. Peace.
She taught the sun to speak. If her words are passionate as her flame, she'll spit fire. It will singe all who stand before her. They will shun her no matter how glorious. When debating the moon, she turned his rocks into sand and ash. God said, "Let there be light," and she took the heat. When she danced, her rays burst through clouds. The water in her cloak reflected the prism she gifted the sky as an offering for holding her. It kissed and told in purple and pink and blues. When she retreats, she can feel everything living begging for her return, with the condition that she doesn't burn, singe, melt, while stripping her layers of protection with their daily practices, exposing her more and more by the minute, warning her that one step too close will alter their praise. And now they need a word, a message, a reflection. I explained to her how a look can speak 1,000 words, how the burn is only a poor management of time lost in her beam, a result of victim blaming for their pollution. Nobody likes how she sheds light on the earth so they find shelter beneath the trees, the center of their home, deep in the sea, to distract from her honesty. But nothing lives without her. Nothing grows or blooms at the tip of her ray if she doesn't nourish them. And God knows what needs to be set on fire. So her spit is one of his favorite wands. A gray day is her request for calm. She sometimes takes until awakened by prayers for the sun. So see, you are loved, having never spoken. Your message doesn't require a tongue. The atmosphere, earth, people, animals, flowers, trees, all living things, whether celebrating or asking for mercy, give witness and speak to your living, ancient to modern testimonies and evolving, speaking the truth of your power. I tell the sun she's enough because she walks in her light, and anything that comes from her as harm is a reminder that it's our job to protect her.
I've learned life ain't nothing but a spades game with consequences. I sat at tables with people I thought were partners, and the whole time they were just waiting to see what I was holding. I came in the game honest and played my hand how it was dealt to me. Never been the type to stack the deck or talk slick behind my cards. I bid what I knew I could carry. For an impossible type confidence, laced with caution, because I understood that overpromising will set you before your opponent ever gets a chance to. I had to learn the hard way that everybody at your table ain't on your team. Some people will smile, then look you dead in your face and renege on loyalty. Have you looking at your partner like you had spades in your hand the entire time and you let them run the table anyway. That's what betrayal looks like in real life. Watching somebody with the ability to protect you and making the choice not to. So I started paying attention a little better. Started reading the table a little differently. Peeped who was sandbagging energy and taking more than they bid, but never taking accountability for it. Looking for the ones who kept saying, I got you, then folded under pressure like a weak hand. I had to start recognizing who only played bold when it didn't cost them nothing. I done seen people call blind nil with my trust, and the cold part is that they looked at you like it's all your fault. You ain't lose because of me. You sold me out, and the realization hit me different. I've been passing negative energy around like a blunt in a circle full of people who don't respect my rotation. Taking hits off my effort while I sit there holding the consequences. I ain't doing that shit no more. From now on, I watch how people play before I decide who I partner with. Not everybody understands the game. I don't overbid my energy, and if I feel like the table is off, I'm not arguing. I'm just removing myself from the seat. I understand now that giving life the best that I got was never the mistake. The mistake was not realizing sooner that everybody ain't built from a strong house of cards. That's that. All right, so that is the end of round one here with SunRise Scribe. Man, I am enjoying myself. But now it is the time for us to pay a few bills and then get into our soundbite artist of the week. So we're going to start off with our sponsors. As always, you have Paul Cram, the poet, of course, me. And then you also have Nice, which is Yoshi. You have Daisy Beats, Walking Erotica, and TNT Business Consulting, which is Ebony the Goddess. So anything creative that you may need, hit us up. And I guarantee you, if we can't do it, we can definitely lead you to someone who can. Next on the list, we have all things Pentelectual. So if you want to follow us on Facebook or Instagram, there you see right there at Pentelectual Conversations. If you would like to sponsor an episode or multiple episodes, you can use the email to hit us up for that, or just contact me directly. If you would like to be a guest as a hot topic, or you have some music that you would like being promoted as our soundbite artist of the week, you can use that QR code or that link tree and let us know. Fill those forms out and we can get you booked as soon as we have an available opening. Also, our Cash App, Pentelectual Conversation, is more than just a show. We are definitely a movement, and movements need to be financed. So we are accepting donations, and everything is accepted. It doesn't matter how big or how small, we accept each and every one of them with love. So thank you so much for that. Now, what we got going on? Poppy's Poetry Poetry. The party always starts on Tuesday, but you know it has to go all the way through Wednesday. So make sure y'all meet me on the corner right there, Poppy's Poetry Corner. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube, hosted by none other than one of the most creative, one of the most energetic people on the planet, Keynotes. Y'all know her as Poppy. I know her as my sister. So make sure y'all tune in for that, man. Beat me there. Don't meet me there. Next, right here is Ink Talk, man. This is my homie Soul's Ink Pen. He has this every Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Soul's Ink Pen and co-hosted by none other than Exquisite Ink, aka Sage. So y'all make sure y'all hit them up. It's right there on TikTok. As you see, adult conversations and poetry. And I promise you, ain't nobody holding their tongue on this show here. This is an awesome show with great energy and great people. So tune in on TikTok, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, Ink Talk with Soul's Ink Pen. Next, we have the Juneteenth weekend with I Love Poetry, hosted by Free Will. And as you see, it is featuring one of our esteemed guests, Rare Epiphany, the eighth wonder of the world. So make sure you can get your tickets. I can't really see it, y'all. I'm sorry, but it's going to be Saturday, the 20th of June at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Contact Rare. I'm pretty sure she can give you some more ticket information. If you don't see it on the flyer, I see it, but my eyes bad, so leave me alone. I'm old. But hit Rare up and she would definitely get you some information, and make sure you go out there and support her. This will be in Marietta, Georgia. The BPC Poetry Fest 2026 is going to be in Atlanta, GA, October 15th, 2026. It is hosted by my brother, Aziz, pulmonologist, and his beautiful wife, Subliminal. And it will be featuring some heavy hitters. And one of those people is none other than Pentelectual's own Ebony the Goddess. So make sure you all please go out and support October 15th, 2026, Wyndham Garden, Atlanta Airport, Atlanta, GA. All right. So what we have now is time for our Soundbite Artist of the Week. And our Soundbite Artist of the Week is also one of our guests tonight, the eighth wonder of the world, Rare Epiphany. So we're going to go ahead and get right up into it, y'all. Let's get it.
Getting out of bed again. Wanna get back in, but there's so much to do, my friend. Day to day, so many problems come your way. Trying to do the best you can, but you wanna throw up your hand. Oh, I know you're down. Don't you dare give up. I feel you down. Don't you dare give up. I know you're down. Don't you dare give up. I feel you down. But don't you dare give up. People try to pull the wool over your eyes. Don't know why they want to profit from your demise. They lie to cover up how weak they are inside. Baby, baby, don't you cry. All you need is cry. So I know you're down. Don't you dare give up. I feel you down. Don't you dare give up. I know you're down. Don't you dare give up. I feel you down. Don't you dare give to the sky when the going is rough. His grace is sufficient and it's more than enough.
That was the rare epiphany, the eighth wonder of the world. And I'm gonna get her to say her whole name because I don't want to mess it up, but I like it when she get to telling everybody about her being the soul singing and bell ringing. Like, I love it all. So let's go ahead and get everybody back up here real quick so we can get some more questions through. Rare, say it for me one time. I can't hear you.
Oh, Lord.
There you go.
I'm the soul singing, noise bringing, bell ringing, rare epiphany.
There you go. There you go. Oh man. I am having a great time right now. All right, so let's get back into a few more questions before we get to the second half of the poetry. This is for anyone who would like to answer this question. Do you consider yourself a writer, a storyteller, a poet, or something else entirely? Wait, before we answer that, we got to bring attention to Elder's hoodie. We got to bring attention to Elder's hoodie. We got everybody to see that. Elder, go ahead and show that hoodie off real quick, man. Let them see that hoodie, man. Let them see that hoodie, man. Scribe tribe. Oh man. Shout out Javi. Good. All right. So let's go ahead and start with you, Elder. Do you consider yourself a writer, a storyteller, a poet, or something else entirely? Everybody's going to answer this question.
Yes. I consider myself all of that, plus an amalgamation of it all, right? I feel that our gifts are part of our personal callings, and what we're destined to do. So I'm all of that as I need to be in the moment. So being equipped with, it's almost like a fivefold ministry, man. It's being able to do all of that, right? I'll add orator to my list. I'll add actor to my list. I'll add all that to the list because it's all meant to be used for me to get whatever message I was meant to convey to the people out. So yes, I'm all of that.
Okay, all right. Sage. Now, Sage, be careful when you answer this question because you lied to us a lot of times for telling us that you wasn't a poet.
Oh, damn, catching strays early. Thought you loved me, man.
Ha! Pew pew.
But I would agree with Elder. Everything I was told that I write in 3 different voices. I'm told that Tiaka B. writes is kind of the storyteller, but I'll bust your ass. But Sage is more of the poet and more of the healer. And then I'm now tapping into my exquisite ink side, which is more of the sensual side. So in each of those categories of me, I think I'm a little bit of each of them. So yeah.
Right. Gangster Butterfly. I know on top of yours is that artist can go either way, but which one, or if all, would you consider you?
I would say all. I'm a mood. Sometimes I do essays, sometimes I do poems, sometimes I talk junk just to get it out my head and get to clear space. I would say everything. I just love self-expression and creating and seeing the outcome.
Okay. Afro Queen.
All. I find that I am ever evolving through and into where I need to be at the time. And so I claim all those titles, labels, roles, gifts, and ministries.
Rare.
I gotta kind of agree with everybody. I used to call myself a poet, but I stopped doing that at the behest of a good friend of mine, named John Good, who was like, "Yeah, you're way more than a poet," and being a writer encompasses all the many things that your pen can do, all the many things that your mind can do. So, sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick. So I'm a poet some days I'm a rapper, some days I want to write a sermon, some days I'm just trying to write myself to life. It is, we are, every writer is all in us.
Now I saved you for last on purpose because your answers are always like thought provoking. So, Dennis, what would you consider you in this category?
You know what? I'm going to put poet at the top. I'm going to claim poet first because I believe poets stands for put on earth to speak. All right, so that's what I'm here for. And what's interesting is the reason why I'll claim poet is because I realize everything I write is poetic. If I send you a text, it's going to be poetic. It's going to have line breaks, everything. Everything I do, emails, everything, I do it the same way I do a poem. When I'm writing the email, I'm saying it out loud. I want to hear how it sounds. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Okay, is this draft good? Let me revise this email. Okay, I'll come back. I don't like the way the email is. I'll let it rest and come back to it. So everything I do is poetic. And so yeah, I'm a poet as well as all of those other things. And one thing I'll do to add some controversy to the mix, I realize poet is a very or poem actually is very controversial. I'm constantly seeing a lot of people trying to kind of determine, well, this is a poem and that's a poem. And I see this thing lately where a lot of people have been saying that some poems should be they should be left as journal entries. And my question is, this is my question. If this is true, if we're disparaging journal entries, is that not anti-Semitic? Because the initials for journal entry writer equal Jew. So that's my thought.
See what I'm saying? see what I'm saying?
This is why he's Dennis.
So, Wallace, has there ever been a topic that you found difficult to share, and why was it difficult?
All right, so since we're here as a SunRise Scribes, but we do all know that I'm also part of the drip, right? As a few of us are that's on this stage. I can't perform the erotic stuff publicly because it feels like a direct contradiction to everything else that I put out on my public facing thing. So if any subject really comes to that, even though the marital bed is undefiled, I'm talking about me and my wife, there's just certain things I don't do publicly because of that. So that'd be the only thing I find difficult. Everything else is, if I'm writing it, I'm spitting it. And that's the only stuff that's kind of kept to itself. And that's just me, protecting, the rest of the brand, I guess, versus anything else. I got erotica in my bag, but it ain't appropriate for me to run up on every stage doing it.
I was saying, because I know you got erotica in your bag.
Few of y'all got to hear them, few of y'all got to read them, but yeah, I don't do it. I don't do it publicly. That's the only thing I find difficult, and it's only because I got to be concerned with everything else that goes around it.
Same question, Sage. Has there ever been a piece you were afraid to share?
A couple of them. I write a lot of my stuff is just really personal. I tap into me. I wrote one last week in Scribe that they just had to get me through. Listen, I wrote a piece this morning that I had myself in tears, that I'm still just kind of sitting in. I don't think that piece will ever be said out loud, but I needed to write it to just kind of get it up off me. So yeah, there's some, and there's a lot of pieces kind of dealing with my relationship with my father's family, which ain't really good. That I just kind of write to heal myself, not necessarily. It's not for the masses. It's something that I just need to get up off me.
I have two more questions before we get back into the poetry. The first one is, this is for everyone, whoever wants to answer. If someone is listening tonight and thinking about taking their writing seriously, what would you want them to know?
Write for yourself first. Don't get into the habit of worrying if you're going to impress anybody, convince anybody. Um, write for yourself first.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what it is about life, but it's like everything is there's duality. So it's like write for yourself, but you know something, you also there's times when you got to write for your reader or your listener because like I'm assuming that if you're writing, you do want someone to listen to it. So
Mhm.
there has to be like a balance. You can't say I'm going to be cryptic and I'm going to be obtuse and because this is how I want to say it. No, you're going to have to find some sort of middle ground. If you want people to engage with your work, at some point it has to be accessible. So I think it's a constant push and pull. Um, it's about not leaning on your own understanding, but then that sometimes you have to have confidence in who you are, and you got to stand on your pen. So it's just like Afro Queen said, it's just ever evolving.
Let me just clarify too. I agree with you, Dennis. There is a balance that has to be struck, and that's a skill that you learn over time. I think the most important thing is that if you don't get it out of your head or out of your spirit in truth first, it will never be okay for anybody else, no matter what you do to it. So you still have to write for yourself first, and then over time, and you know, based on what you've learned from your mentors and watching the world go by, you will learn how to strike that balance of speaking to others. But the first thing you have to do is, if you haven't told yourself the truth yet, it won't be okay. That's my opinion.
There's this meme I saw going back to your last question. It said if they wanted you to write about them differently, they would have behaved better. And when I think about, you know, things that are hard to share or hard to write, I just feel like there's a overcoming that has to happen when you create, where you have to face that thing. And like Fasiwe said, you don't everything's not for everybody. And to Dennis's point, you can write for the audience, and you can write things that you only share publicly, and you can have things that you reserve for yourself. And some of the masters have done that. When um, Afro Queen, when she interviewed Nikki Giovanni, before we went into that conversation, I said, "There's Yolanda and there's Nikki, and she only answers Nikki questions." And I was right. But I respect it because there's certain parts of your life that don't belong to everybody and don't have to. And you can write, things that you're comfortable sharing, but it shouldn't limit your expression. If you need to say that thing about your mother, your father, your ex best friend, whoever, say the thing and then go back later and decide if you want to share it. But the first part of writing is just getting it out. Editing is and filtering is what you can decide later. But don't hinder your process for the sake of people who you haven't even seen yet.
Mm.
Yeah, I just want to
Okay.
qualify something. Everything I said I meant to be in alignment with Shauna and Afro Queen. I
Oh,
was actually speaking more about the technical aspect. So, for instance, Some people, for whatever reason, they will be in love with a certain font. But this font, when you put it on paper, it is not, you can't read it. You know, this old English script that you did, you for whatever, I understand that you love that font. I get it. But I'm trying to tell you, I can't read it. So you're gonna have to find a middle ground. You don't like Times Roman because of what it did to Jesus. I get it. Okay, maybe go with Helvetica or something. I get it. You know?
This dude, bro. All right. So, SunRise Scribe can be described as a writing group for those who don't really understand that it's much more than that. So, with one word, each of you, what has SunRise Scribe become for you personally? Let's start with Rare.
Necessary.
Afro Queen.
Healing.
Elder.
Stability.
Sage.
Freedom.
Gangsta Butterfly.
Sacred.
Dennis.
Gratitude.
And for me, I'll say family. All right. So it is time for this second half of the show. We're going to all do our pieces and come back up. And when we come back up, I want each and every one of you to let people know where they can follow your pen and things of that nature. So we're going to start. Actually, I don't even know what I'm spitting. With me. No sirens or flashing lights. No hashtags long enough to stretch across the outline of what just died. Just signatures. Ink laid down like landmines, and somehow they still detonate in the neighborhoods that never heard the countdown. They taught us that war is loud, filled with tanks, gunfire, and helicopters cutting the sky into pieces, but nobody ever said that war could sound like paperwork, curriculum changes, or we're just reviewing materials at this time. History never expires. It just gets erased. Bookshelves getting lighter from removal, pages disappearing like witnesses in a rigged trial, kids flipping through textbooks trying to find themselves and landing on blank spaces with better funding than their schools. Diversity, equity, inclusion. They said it's slow at first, then sped it up. Cut it down, turned it into something disposable. They couldn't wait for DEI to DIE. Letters rearranged in spirit, if not on paper, because once you strip the meaning, the only thing left in the policy is quiet execution. No bullets or chalk outlines, just fragments from decisions breaking off and embedding in everyday life. That's a quiet type of shrapnel. The kind that don't tear skin, it rewrites opportunity. It hits job interviews, sitting in boardrooms, waiting in the pauses before somebody decides if your name feels professional enough. Turn on the TV, and you can watch a citrus-skinned idiot fumble through a sentence like the truth itself refuses to cooperate. Words collapse mid-air, logic missing like he got banned with the books, but still the damage gets done. Not because it's brilliant, but because noise travels even when the space is empty, because confusion repeated enough starts sounding like authority to people who stop listening for sense. They say we overreact, say everything ain't about race. Meanwhile, history is getting cropped like a bad photo they don't want posted. Angles adjusted, lighting's fixed, whole chapters cut so the narrative looks more appealing while placing truth on timeout like it misbehaved in the classroom it helped build. And yeah, we joke, we laugh, say things like, at this rate, they're going to teach slavery like it was a group project. The whole crowd will just chuckle. But that laugh got teeth. Survival. That's what humor sounds like when it's trying not to turn into rage, because this don't feel accidental. This feels measured, calculated, like somebody studied silence and weaponized it. Damage don't always scream. Sometimes it edits. Sometimes it deletes. Sometimes it smiles in a press conference while signing something that chips away at your very existence piece by quiet fucking peace. No sirens, no tape, no warning shots, just us learning how to identify wounds that never announce themselves. Learning how to speak up in a war designed to look like nothing fucking happened. And that's the trick. That's the tactic. That's the explosion you do not hear until the shrapnel already hits you. Paul Cram, welcome to the experience.
The inventory of the tearing. The aftermath of the slicing from the blade, piercing the skin, leaving reminders. Repairing something that was weak and needed to be rebuilt. Testimonial proof and evidence of each battle, all varied in length and all having different stories of how they were earned. Mostly from overuse, be it from work or pleasure, it was a wearing down over time of repeated instances of impact on the surfaces not assigned to the task. Hard gym floors, concrete and overly soft surfaces that did not provide a proper foundation or protection to the dancers. But still bodies spin and jumped, hips moved in syncopations with rhythms and percussion, energy highs so high, until the tearing happened. It was an audible pop that sounded like a gunshot, a sound that brought a room to the hush. The numbness was there. The sensation of warmth that ran through the veins told her something is wrong. Wanting to maintain the warrior spirit, the damage was ignored until it couldn't be. The body waved the white flag of surrendering, the examining, the probing, the peering into the identifying issue. The knee was severed. Nothing but sheer will held it together. The surprise was it lasted that long. Like metal grinding on car brakes, the pads had just worn out. Reconstruction needed, trying to rebuild. Better, faster, stronger. Bringing in cadaver bones to piece it all back together. But see, that was the first of many. The multitude of scars arranged across various limbs, resembling the Bride of Frankenstein being pieced together, only for a new tear to repair, each time wearing the subject down, hiding the scars under layers of fabric so that no one can see its ugliness, hoping they overlook the limping and the unsteadiness. But she tries to smile through it all, although the silent tears fall inside, just wanting someone, anyone to help her, tend to her scars, to not see her as a monster, as weak, wanting someone to just see she's more than that. So she takes inventory of it all, and although unsteady, she remains standing to tell the story, her story, that there is more than what you think you see. And Sage has cleared the space with exquisite ink.
I am not my ancestors. I've heard it spoken, seen it written, pluralized to we, all delivered with an arrogance laced heavily with the promise of violence. Rarely is it used as a tribute to the ancestors. It is in contrast of strength measured against the perceived weakness of those who crawled, walked, or even ran before us. A middle finger to the legacies of change that were built off the lattice-scarred backs of our forebears. To derive weakness from the will to make safe havens for the future while under the constant threat of death is madness. The hindsight of prosperity is skewing the intensity of the danger that permeated the atmosphere our ancestors toiled in. No, we are not our ancestors. If we were, then their living would have been in vain. Their blood, their sweat, their tears were to create a better life. freedom to choose, freedom to speak, freedom to act. While we still chase total freedom, many of us still fight the good fight. Many of us still feel the heavy boot of oppression upon our necks, but we do so in way different circumstances. I show up daily dressed as my ancestors' wildest dreams, melanated and well compensated, and as a tribute to the ancestors, I live free and fight for more freedoms for others, while acknowledging their sacrifices that made me stand my stand impossible. I honor the strength, courage, the wisdom. I honor the rebellion that coursed through their veins. I honor the bloodshed, the lives lost, reverence for those who paid the cost. So you will not find me disrespecting those who paved the path I run on. As a tribute to my ancestors, I rise daily to be my best self, to use my gifts to lift my people to new heights, to forge new legacies, to build new roadways that lead to runways so those coming behind me can take off and fly. I am not my ancestors. I am the sum of their work. I am grateful for their actions. I will forever honor their names. I'm a member of the Black American diaspora, born and raised in these divided states. My family has been here for countless generations. Yes, I feel like I'm on an island, cast away, cut off. My family has no record of where we came from. We know nothing beyond a handful of generations. Great's great-grand is the shifting sand our lineage stands on. We only seem to have the trauma locked into our DNA, epigenetic conversations with our ancestors who survived unspeakable acts. To be Black, African American, Negro, BIPOC, colored is to know this plight. Ancestry DNA gives us a fallacious peek at our origins, but no anchors to hold us from drifting into the rocks of ignorance. There's no bliss in this, left adrift to navigate the waters of this life, forever destined to repeat the mistakes of our past because our griots died with stories coating their lips and their feet bound and placed by a society that wants us disconnected and disenfranchised, disembodied from our community, to crush our collective. It's the violent dismantling of our history, our unknown, preserve us, that work good, leaving us forlorn malaise. The this still all materials that make up me, but I commune with my ancestors every time I pick up my pen. So stepping into my calling, transgenerational lines of communication open. Now I'm wearing sage-colored glasses and speaking forward to the masses. I will forever be the amplified voice of yesterday as I chronicle our history and speak life into our futures. I represent the dreams of my unknown predecessors, and I will write a bridge of words to the past and beyond, all while I protect and inform, uplift and encourage. My people will no longer lament about what's lost as we cherish what is and protect what's ours. And the elder has spoken.
Little girl blue, what's wrong with you? Why are you so insecure? Girl, don't you know you're what the world's waiting for? Little girl blue, open your eyes. You're more than even you know. Don't hesitate. Stare your dreams right in the face. Fly, fly away. Don't wait around one more day. Girl, it's your chance to find truth and romance. It's okay. Little girl blue, I am on your side. No need to run, no need to hide. It's okay. It's okay. A butterfly emerged from her cocoon and sang from her solar plexus to puff up her wings. But they didn't look like the wings of the other butterflies. Her body was nuanced with shapes the others didn't have. Black and brimming and wild, and yet Unbeknownst to her, she was fragile. She was ravenous and dreaming of the sky. She kept devouring herself in pieces, and with each regeneration, she was new, foreign, even more like a dragonfly, one who thirsted for the sweet nectar of life's best things. What she thought was deformity was her own divine singularity, and she flew her own way. Sometimes forward, sometimes backward, difficult to pursue, nearly impossible to catch. She couldn't decide which she wanted to be more, a butterfly or a dragonfly. So she chose to be both. Even though it was impossible, they said. You can't just be what you make up yourself, they said. A dragonfly, butterfly, born for a time yet to come, you don't exist. She said, you'll have to take that up with God. This was really all their idea. Anyway, you will feel the flutter from a black dragon butterfly's wings long before you ever see them, mistaking the flutter for a thunderstorm, a flood, the sun, a dewy mist. Anyway, the flutter will feel like your life has been saved, like you were forgiven, like you've been put in your place, like your scalp has been scratched. Anyway, it will taste like barefoot breakfast made at home with seasoned hands. It will smell like earth. Anyway, black dragon butterfly wings dare grief to try again because it won't be the first time or the last. Anyway, they hover with the strength of narratives folded into them, corrugated with intuition and war wounds. They hum prayers because God is a musician. Anyway, black dragon butterfly wings fly through the ocean, fly from the grave, fly without ever leaving the ground. Anyway, because hate is a tether, loss is an anchor, isolation is a drowning, and black dragon butterflies identify as refugees, as survivors, as mermaids. They keep flying anyway. When flight is persisting, when flight is innovating, when flight is breathing in spaces where the air has been sucked away, black dragon butterfly wings keep flying anyway. When flight is being the only, being the first, opening the doors and windows and gates, black dragon butterfly wings keep flying anyway. When to exist is to fly in the face of their annihilation. Peace.
This piece was written today, so this is fresh ink, and it's inspired by this wonderful book here, 36 Clouds, a collection of elevated passages by Paul Cram the poet. So this piece is based on Cloud 18 and Cloud 19, and this is entitled Downloads from the Clouds, after Paul Cram the poet. The space between us became Othello, a game of which we grew bored, a pasture of green morphed into darkness. Who knew our light was reversible? Shirts, skins. The only thing worse than being picked last is being the side that's not picked. It's been said, rejection is God's protection. I guess being a child of God means having a parent who is overprotective. Knowledge is slow burning. The baby monitor may not pick up duplicity, a secret shared while you're sleeping like a firstborn Egyptian. But the hairs behind your ear will star in their own Pepsi commercial. While oblivious to pyrotechnics in the background, an ember will barnacle itself to your head. The flicker of half hints and anxiety's paranoia will send peace of mind up in flames. Stop, drop, crawl if necessary, roll your R's. Restraint. Resist, don't retaliate, rely on reason. Let the spirit offer free counsel to the flesh. Remain silent. The mouth will strain against its muzzle. The urge to swear will burn a hole in pockets of anger. Breathe heat into the air. Each exhale, a translation wrapped in frigid smoke. This union in a state of collapsing. Is there a proverb for a time such as this? What parable can prevent a fable's grim ending? An ending is only a gift when writing a poem. Any other time, endings will bring you to your end. They are bilingual enemies, fluent in the language of predators who perfectly mimic mating calls. That's the sound of a sporked tongue. A whisperer who can make two satellites stop communicating. Life support systems fail. Shields deteriorate. When re entering the atmosphere of harsh revelations, there's never really enough time or preparation to brace for the impact of brutish truth. When memory spams you with downloads, your firewall will give. Every burn will come back. Every scar will revert to the wound. It's all going down. Secure your oxygen mask. As life hurtles through the air, take time out to see the clouds. Some look like pink elephants. Others favor a kiss on the cheek. One is shaped the same as Nana's wooden spoon. Two clouds resemble the numbers 18 and 19. Be thankful for cloudy days. Be thankful for cloudy days. A reminder, sunshine is a fair weather friend. Any relationship can be an illusion, a mirage, an ink blot. What does betrayal look like? A knife? A heart? A whisper behind your back? These are the questions one will ask themselves while staring up at the clouds, looking away from the gaping and hemorrhaging stab wound, bleeding out poison as they take their eyes off. A knife in the heart, a knife in the heart by way of the back.
When words are not enough, an attempt at forgiveness makes the eyes more aware and the senses more astute. The way their hands extend to pick something up, their back straightening and shoulders rising at the weight, the body language too emphasized feels like lies and violence, handed a love offering, reflecting on when a flower stood pure in its beauty, like they saw it and decided your smile would be beautiful extended over a bouquet of roses. Now they are tied to sorry, and the hope that red petals are dark enough to hide their missteps. Red roses represent every type of love, even fractured love, with petals for bandages. Thorns leave scars, and we decide it's part of life. So we accept the branding, not like a frat brother, more like a cow marked as property of a farm not of their choosing. So they graze the grass while walking the perimeter of a fenced in world, with their head down and prayers an echo chamber beneath their belly, not realizing that for everything forgiveness could have meant, it never required control, just a release. I do not wish for a life of being picked and dying unto myself for the nourishment of anyone who harmed me.
The creative arts require various and sundry parts of me to enter into spaces dangerously unsafe for the brokenhearted. The uncharted seas of memories, always rough and unruly, threatening to drown me with every wave. Praying as I pray that I can somehow make it out alive and that I don't fall on my face, not allow sadness to make me its slave like trauma did in its heyday. And in the melee, I'm screaming Mayday, and the chaos gives way to an awakening. And the words and nouns and verbs begin shaking and moving and forming outside the windows of my soul, offering an anchor that won't allow me to float away. When this poem enters the room, It is a consuming fire that swallows my entire soul, controlled only by the borders of these bags underneath my eyes and the levee of lids holding back the high tide of uncried tears. Burns up form of fears that had turned into issues of trust, blown into highly flammable tissues of just the roughest and most abrasive self-hatred known to woman. I had summoned the words unconsciously, and they are symbols like the Justice League on a mission to save me, from my anxiety and self-doubt, from codependency and clout chasing, from taking away the credit that belonged to me, from self-degradation and failure to see my own beauty and power. When this poem enters the room, it devours my unbelief, pulls up every good and perfect gift in me that I steady be denying, calls me to the carpet for co-signing the bullshit I picked up from callous conversations about me by people who indeed know me, but use words as trickery, so I never learned to know myself or my possibilities. When this poem enters the room, it introduces itself to me as me and shows me all that I am and could be, that I am the overwhelming, consuming fire that walks into the room with it, that I am the call for help and the response to it. I am the poem. That's it. That's enough. Always has been. Always will be. Enough. Epiphanies.
Ooh, man. Give yourself an applause, man. That was dope. That was absolutely dope. So, right now we're about to go around, and I want each and every one of you to let people know where they can follow your pen. And once again, if you have anything coming up or anything that you're selling, please let that be known. And we're gonna start with Rare and just gonna go around. So, Rare.
Hey, I popped a link in the chat for the Juneteenth celebration that is going on. It is at Club Euro Atlanta. And if you follow me, I am Pamela Rare Epiphany Best on Facebook. I am Rare Epiphany on TikTok and on Instagram. And if you go to my Instagram profile and hit my link tree, you'll find the link to music. You'll find where I'm gonna be and what I'm gonna be doing.
All righty. Afro Queen.
You can follow us on Love Art Life or Love Art Life TV on both Facebook and Instagram.
The Elder, the man with the hands the size of a football field.
All right. You can follow me on Instagram, Minister Reed 76. You can follow me on TikTok. Minister Reed 76 is REID is how you spell it, Reed. Minister Reed 76 on TikTok as the Elder Poetry. If you hit my link tree on my Instagram, you can get my tracks, any of my other social media, things of that nature. If you're in the Greater Hartford area on June 28th, we will be having a paint sipping poetry event. If you follow me on social media, you will get the link to buy the tickets if you want to come through. We're in Connecticut, folks. That's going to be in East Hartford, Connecticut on that date. So if you happen to be in the area, look out for those ticket sales and come on by.
All right. Exquisite Ink, aka Sage.
You can find me on Instagram at sage.thepoet and on TikTok again as Sage the Poet.
All right. Gangsta Butterfly.
I have a writing workshop that I run every first and second Saturday of the month, the Writers Group with Shauna T. Melton. And there is a Facebook group, and you can follow me, Shauna Tanika Melton, on Facebook, or Shatamel, SHATAMEL, on TikTok and Instagram. The Writers Group is from 2 to 4. It's free and it's on Zoom, so wherever you're at, you can be with us. And I'm in this really weird contest, and and I'm number 8 in the top 10, and I'm trying to be between 1 and 5 in the next 2 days. So if you go to my page and you see the post about the People's Artist, don't share it. Just vote for me and tell a friend to vote for me. And let's see if we can get to the other side of this thing. That's it.
Without. And the many attitudes of Dennis. Where can we follow you at, man?
Anywhere where there's a church, liquor store, fried chicken spot, and somebody going sour, sour, sour on the same block, you can find me there. You can also find me on Instagram, M_A_Dennis575. I'm on other stuff, but that's probably if you wanted to connect through social media. And I put that and my email in the chat. That's it for me. Thank you for listening. It's been a blast.
No doubt, man. I had an amazing time tonight, man. And on behalf of Pentelectual Conversations, I want to say thank you all for accepting the invitation to being a guest here on Pentelectual Conversations. This was a dope moment for me. Like I said, you guys are family. You welcome me in with open arms, man, on my birthday. So that was probably one of the greatest gifts I've ever received, especially dealing with poetry. So say I love y'all. Thank y'all.
Paul
And
Cram. I know this is your platform, but I'm sorry. We're going to take a minute. We're going to take just a minute to let you know how special you are and how much we love, admire, are proud of you, are inspired by you, and everything that we are bearing witness to your growth and your expansion, the way that you have impacted and are destined to impact the world. I can't say enough about it. We lift you up right now. We affirm you. We love on you. We encourage you. We are so grateful to have you as a part of the SunRise Scribe. Thank you for having us on this space, but thank you for being who you are. We love you.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
All right. So we gonna take y'all off.
Got him.
You see it. All right, so we gonna take y'all off the stage for a second. We'll hit y'all up in just a minute. Everybody who follows the show, you know what time it is. It is time for that old mic drop. All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit different. So before we get out of here, I'm gonna be a little transparent. Yesterday, I suffered what doctors call a TIA, transit. I'm gonna say that I word wrong. Ischemic, whatever attack. It's basically when blood flow to the part of your brain gets interrupted for a short period of time. So to keep it simple, yesterday I suffered a mini stroke. At 43 years old, that's a sentence I never thought that I would have to say out loud. You know, like anybody that knows me, they know that there's only three things in the world that genuinely scares me, and that's other people's dogs, clowns, and hospitals. Yesterday, one of them won. My fear of hospitals kept me from taking my health as seriously as I should have. I put things off that I shouldn't have put off. I've ignored things that I shouldn't have ignored. I've avoided conversations that I should have had years ago. And somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that if I wasn't falling apart, then I must be okay. You know, if I can still go to work, I'm okay. If I can still pay bills, I'm okay. If I can smile, if I can laugh, if I can write poems, if I can host a podcast and show up for everybody else, I was okay. Yesterday taught me something. That looking okay and being okay are not always the same thing. Sometimes your body is fighting battles that your pride won't even let you acknowledge. And if you're not careful, you'll ignore the warning signs because nothing has completely fallen apart yet. Yesterday taught me how dangerous that mindset can truly be. Because yesterday I could have died. I could have left my kids without a father. I could have forced my mama to bury her oldest child. And the hardest part about the realization is knowing that a lot of what put me in that situation was preventable. Bad eating habits. I don't exercise enough. I don't drink enough water. I don't take care of myself the way that I encourage other people to take care of themselves. And that's a hard truth to face. I want to publicly apologize to Sarah, aka Mystic, and Yoshi the Dragon. My fear created a burden that neither one of them should have to carry. And I want to thank them for checking on me, for standing beside me, and for loving me through my stubbornness. I want to thank them both for refusing to let me face that moment by myself. For everybody who called, texted, reached out, checked on me, prayed for me, sent positive energy, or simply took a moment to say my name with love attached to it, thank you. I knew people loved me, but yesterday showed me just how deeply I'm loved. And that's something I'll never forget. I saw messages from people I haven't talked to in a while. I saw concern from people who owed me nothing. I had people praying for me who could have easily just kept going. One of the scariest moments in my life, I was reminded that I have never been walking this journey alone. Shout out to Walking Erotica for making me face that. So tonight I make a vow that I'm going to do better with my life. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to exercise. I got to lower my glucose. I'm going to do everything within my power to improve my health and give myself the best opportunity to be here for the people that love me. I made somebody a promise. I told her that I'd be around at least 42 more years. And I intend to fight for every single one of them. To every man listening to me right now, especially Black men, please hear me, man. Go get yourself checked out before you check out. Don't wait. Don't assume that you're okay because nothing hurts. Don't let fear make decisions that your future has to pay for. Find you a primary care physician. And if you don't have insurance, look into state insurance programs, go to urgent care, ask questions, get blood work done, learn your numbers, drink your fucking water, take the walks, do the small shit. Do it now so the people who love you don't have to deal with the big thing later. Because yesterday reminded me that life is a gift that I took for granted. And it reminded me that there are far more people in my corner than I ever realized. I'm not ready to perform on that stage in heaven yet. I still got a lot more stages to touch while I'm down here. A lot more poems to write. A lot more conversations to have. And now that I've been reminded how precious life really is, I plan on making the most of every day that I'm blessed to receive. So fellas, get yourself checked out, bro. Find a way to stop pushing away the people that's there for you. I could have lost 2 friends yesterday because I didn't want to just get myself checked out. I could have lost my life because I didn't want to go to the hospital because of fear. But I'm ready to get past that. I'm ready to do myself better. So please, for me, go get yourself checked out. This is Paul Cram reminding you that dope poetry, deep dialogue, and unapologetically real energy will always reside here at Pentelectual Conversations. And with that being said, we out.
Thank you for vibing with us. We hope tonight's conversation inspired a creative spark in you. So go out and show the world who you really are. And we'll see you next time on Pentelectual Conversations.